poppin' people? It's your boy Zero, aka Black Natsuki, and I apologize for the delay. I know it's been a while. I know it's been like at least like a week and a half, maybe two, before we got to record more ReZero content. I was having issues with my audio, still am, but I decided we're going to go with the audio from my webcam and not from my mic. For some reason, this mic that I can low-key just like toss to the side has not been working. And I'm like, I don't have any other source of audio like to read the shit. And everything was sounding bad. I know this is not going to sound as clear or crisp as it normally does. However, please bear with me. I ordered a new mic. It should be coming tomorrow. Once it comes, I'm going to test it out, make sure everything sounds good. Then we're going to continue with the ReZero Light Hour readings. But I've done a few testings. I don't expect this to be the best quality, but I do want to read, so you guys know how this goes. I'm bricked up. You're bricked up. Let's be bricked up together as we read ReZero Arc 9, Chapter 43. True name. And let us switchy swap. Now, this imagery is already going crazy because, like, although this is Petra, it's basically Subaru. Like, Subaru fighting Gluttony like this, like for the first time head on, is pretty fucking insane. So it's like him being able to get his lick back, but I digress. Let's jump into it. Damn it. Hold on. Okay. I gotta get like a little closer just so I can make sure that you guys are hearing what I have to say properly. Oh, god damn it. Stop this fucking thing. God, Buddha, Adlagna, for as long as I live, I hereby vow to never play with children. For instance, if someone else were to use the witch factor held by Klein Nisama, if I were to use it, could I use teleport as much as I wanted, even without paying the compensation? When she had first been informed by Klein about the existence of the witch factor of Justitia and the authority of compression, the first thing that had popped into Petra's mind was that method of abusing it. And that's because she has Subaru in her, willing to take any and every single straw and use it to the utmost to survive. No, not even to survive, to make those that he or she wants to live survive, you know? Klein was not compatible with the witch factor, and as a result, compensation, payment, was required to exercise the authority of compression. So he had told her. At the same time, the witch factor of Justitia was a one-off factor created to be used by a specific person, so by no means would Petra have been compatible either. Sorry, the background music's kind of fucking me up because like I know how emotional this shit is, and it's damn it. Hence, the special tag team consisting of the warlock who possessed the authority that was returned by death, Natsuki Subaru, and the witch who supported him, Petra Lete, was disbanded before it was even formed. While that was a relief, it was also true that she had felt regretful about it. Hence, the matter of the witch factor of Justitia was placed outside the topic of agenda, with them having decided on utilizing Klein's compression to reconvene with their allies and to plunge into the final battle against the enemy. But with Ao's authority of turning back time having come to light, the spotlight had once again been placed on the authority of Justicia while they were working out a plan to decisively stop the Ao troop. Klein had informed Petra and the others that, due to incompatibility with the witch factor, it was impossible to exercise his authority without compensation. However, the meaning hidden behind that was, as long as the compensation is paid, then even people who aren't Klein-sama can use compression, right? At Petra's verification, Klein's expression did not shift. However, that only served to convince Petra of the validity of her own conjecture. If she had truly wanted to hide it, Klein ought to have acted more surprised, saying, "I had never even thought of that." In order to do something about Ao-san and his group, it's absolutely essential that we split them all apart. Outside of Ao-san himself, the most troublesome opponent would be the Divine Dragon-sama, but Klein-sama would do something about that, right? On that point, I can also provide assurance. Klein is a key person to serve as a trump card against the Divine Dragon Volcanica, indeed. Did I use that right? Yes, that's correct. During the strategy meeting, the one who had boasted of being able to subdue the Divine Dragon was Klein. Honestly, including the matter of the witch factor of Justicia, it made her exasperated to think about how many secrets he was hiding along with Roswell. But there was nothing better than his reliability. However, just because Klein was reliable did not mean she could take advantage of him for everything. But if Klein-sama is going to be busy dealing with the Divine Dragon-sama, he won't be able to take people in and out with compression, correct? I do not deny. Affirmation. Of course, exhausting all of the power in my possession, I will deliver all personnel to the battlefront without fail, but no. If you do it like that, I think compression will lose its strengths. The best point about compression is that, like a teleport, it can take our fighting strength in and out and swing things around. Now, what I'm going to say is, right now, it's very curious because how much of these strategies are derived from Petra being Petra versus Petra being Petrabu or Petrabu right now. I'm just gonna say Petrabu. Like, if Petrabu is going off of her own instincts without the heavy influence of Subaru, would this be something that she naturally would have came to? Because this is very eerily like something that Subaru would do in a loop. He's going to sacrifice himself and he's going to put everyone else's needs and wants over himself and his goals. So if we were to think about it like that, yeah, Petra's still the fucking GOAT. Like, she's fucking goated. Like, like, she's probably the hero. Like, she's easily like the hero of the arc so far. But like, is it because of Subaru's influence, or is there a significant part of her that would have already done this prior to her reading Subaru's Book of the Dead? And that's what makes this such like a compelling section, because she's getting so much story, so much leeway. You know, I'm gonna fix like some volume shit. just in case, like I'm not loud enough. But it just still begs like the question, like, how much of who is actually doing this? Okay. There was likely no falsehood in the words Klein had sworn with a quiet expression. However, in them a certain heat did dwell. Their greatest fighting strength would securely be sent to the enemy lines. That alone was already an extraordinary feat, but this was also a battle such that if they could afford to hope for more, they ought to hope for as much as they could. And so, we shift to the matter of transferring the authority. Though, before we start to consider it, I'd like to verify if that plan's actually even possible. About that, hesitation. Klein-sama, please lay all the ingredients out on the table. Something that Subaru would say. I think that right now is the time to discuss what cards everyone has in their hand, and the extent to which we might be able to use them. So, don't hide anything. As Klein hesitated to speak out, Petra plainly requested him to. She understood his reasons for being uneager to share, his reasons for worrying over keeping the information hidden. She understood. But this discussion was a meeting dedicated to saving the kingdom, saving the world, saving Natsuki Subaru and Beatrice. I'm not live, am I? Wait, where am I? Okay. It was rather charming how Meili had been glaring at Petra as she had told him to not hide anything. Huh? It was rather charming how Meili had been glaring at Petra as she told him not to hide anything. Oh, okay. If you wish to know whether it is possible or impossible, then it would be possible. Approval. Whoa, did I go too far? Okay, wait. The witch factor of Justitia fails to be compatible with myself, and it is merely within my possession, responsibility. In that case, it is simply a matter of shifting ownership. Ha! That should be quite easy to handle then. It would be a disaster if Klein were to leave it behind. Pause. Okay. We're black. So. I forgot where I was. Okay. This also goes for if it were to be left behind. But it would also be quite scary if it were to be stolen or confiscated by someone else. In that sense, it's understandable that Klein was the one holding on to it. Unexpectedly, the witch factor of Justitia seemed to have been managed in a curious state. The notion that it was understandable that Klein had been the one entrusted with its management, with that Petra agreed. Klein, who always handled everything in a brisk and tactful manner, would have made for an ideal custodian. However, it might be better to give up that duty to someone else this time. someone else. But witch factors are really dangerous. It's something I saw before at the sanctuary. They aren't things they aren't things you can handle safely at all. Juice, god damn it. There is definitely a risk, but if it's used well... Petroshan, I'm against it. You know? At the sharpened voice opposing her, with the most emotion, Petra lowered the ends of her eyebrows. Petra knew that Meili had constantly been worrying about her. It made her happy. After all, when Petra had just met Meili, she was always attempting to get the latter to like her. She had thought that affection would be the best weapon to dull any murderous impulses. And she had hit the nail on the head. That's some crazy writing, bro. Petra knew that Meili had constantly been worrying about her. It made her happy. After all, when Petra had just met Meili, she was always attempting to get the latter to like her. She had thought that affection would be the best weapon to dull any murderous impulses. And she had hit the nail on the head. So like if we're going off of the notion that this is Petra's like understanding, Petra knew when Meili pulled up that she was on fucking trash. And if we're to believe that, because it makes no sense for it to be the opposite way. If Petra knew that Meili was on fucking bullshit from when she first came to the village, and she was doing everything to prevent her from being on trash with that murderous intent, the fact that Meili right now is showcasing the complete opposite emotion and wanting Petra to be on guard and not to kind of throw like potentially like her life away by committing to taking this witch factor as a possibility, because she already fucking knows. That is gorgeous fucking like writing. Oh my god, dude. That shit actually goes crazy, because we're going so far to develop Meili's character at this point. Like, dude, when I first met Meili, I was like, okay, yeah, fuck this chick, right? And then we watch the anime, we see that she becomes like a villain later, and we're like, oh yeah, fuck this bitch. Never would we have had expected at this point to recruit her as an ally, and then for her to actually turn tail against what she believed in initially to support not only the main cast but Petra / Arc 4 Subaru. Like, this shit actually goes so fucking crazy. It's, dude, what? Man, this shit is hitting. If you guys are enjoying the video so far, I know that the audio isn't that great. It's going to get better in the next one, so my apologies. I'm going to also slightly raise the volume of the background music. And so just in case you guys weren't hearing it enough, we had like a banger that just came on, but I digress. So let's continue. At the sharpened voice opposing her with the most emotion, Petra lowered the ends of her eyebrows. Petra knew that Meili had constantly been worrying about her. Oh wait. Oh, I already read that. My bad. Though it might have been a bit too effective. I'll say this now, but I'm one of the same opinion as Meili. You haven't told me what it was, but you've already paid Klein-san with something, Petra. You can't compromise anything further than this. The voice of a phantom, inaudible to anyone else. It instilled Petra with the feeling that she was truly being held dear. Let it be declared, imaginary Subaru, might have been a convenient delusion of Petra's, but the quality of the recreation should have been high enough such that, beyond any doubt, if it had been the real Subaru, he would have said the same thing. I'm glad that neither Frederica Nisama nor Beatrice-chan are here. Even just melee had caused Petra's heart to waver a fair amount. If Frederica and Beatrice had supplemented that with a 1-2 punch, Petra might have been knocked out. What about if Garfield and Otto had been here? Garfield would have likely shouted angrily, but she felt like Otto would have understood. After all, Otto was the one currently overexerting himself by far the most out of the camp, so Petra did not think he would have had any right to complain to her. Harboring the self-awareness that she truly was such a blessed and beloved girl, Petra spoke. Let's divide up the roles properly. That way, everyone can do their job to the best of their abilities. Jesus fucking Christ. Fuck. This imagery is fucking insane, dude. God, Buddha, Ad Lagna, for as long as I live, I hereby vow to never visit that nostalgic place. What is she talking? Not the village. Bro, this shit's gonna make me emotional. Like, it's the same as Subaru. She's giving, oh my god, she's giving up so much. Okay. Tightly ascertaining the sensation of the rectangular box stored in her breast pocket, Petra focused her attention on the witch factor of Tristitia, which she had successfully received by manipulating her words. Cajoling the people around her. I have to concentrate. By putting that to words, Petra firmly cautioned herself so as to perceive her own sanity. In honesty, until today, Petra had thought of herself as someone possessing a tenacious mental fortitude. She had not lost her mind even after reading a book of the dead, and even if her beloved was not swayed by her in the slightest. She had never once thought about giving up on getting him to turn to face her. She was aware that she had been through many difficulties and gambles for someone of her age. And despite all that, the destructive sense of omnipotence brought on by the witch factor made Petra's head spin. No, that's not good for me. Subaru, cheer me on! Petra, do your best! Don't lose! If you lose after staking everything on a gamble I told you not to do, you know what that'll mean. I'll end up hating you. Whoa. Whoa. In that case, I definitely won't lose. Cheered on by her beloved within her mind, it felt like a bit of a last resort to revitalize her state of mind, but it did happen to be actually effective, showing how magnificent the power of love could be. A witch factor. Just what could such a thing do in the face of love? The struggle against a witch factor was ultimately just a mental problem, so it was only natural that the power of love would serve as a wonder drug. The efficacy of that remedy which had made it impossible for Petra to remain as a mere village girl, was something she understood better than anyone else. Therefore, noble to fight. Noble to fire 8. Then hit him with a soldier to flower 3. Wait, what the fuck did that even mean? Noble to fire 8. Then hit him with a soldier to flowers 3. What? Yeah, what the fuck? That might be a quote. That might be a quote of something else that I'm just not privy to. God damn it. Damn it, chat. At the firm voice striking her eardrums with vigor, Petra opened her eyes wide and grit her teeth. With the activation of compression, Petra deployed those designated personnel to those designated positions on the battlefield that had been divided up into an 8x8 grid within her mind. The same configuration as a shatranj board. Sure enough, 2 individuals aligning with the Feldkamp been delivered to the battlefield in the blink of an eye. One of Feld's followers, Gaston, and a fierce-looking pigman known as the Pig King, Doltero, swinging their mighty arms. They walloped Heinkel and Gluttony respectively, each of whom had been attempting to launch their own offenses, and sent them flying. Could this be? Such a thing is possible? I don't know who this is. Having sidestepped the punch with acrobatic maneuvers, Roy raised his irksome visage and tearing his gaze off of Ram, who had been fixated on until then. He looked at Petra. At Petra, who, maintaining a distance from the duos of Ram and Melee, Flam and Gracious, who were all engaged in direct combat, were positioned so as to grasp the entirety of the battlefield, sat atop the shoulders of Ramji. Petra-chan, since when do you become a Sin Archbishop? Perhaps as ought to have been expected from a Sin Archbishop, he perceived the whereabouts of the witch factor. Nay, were that the case, then he would have noticed their trick much sooner. Likely, it was the result of having correctly fathomed that compression was the work of an authority, and thinking about who was in the possession to use it most pertinently. Nothing impressed at all for a Sin Archbishop. Impressive at all. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, so just showing that like their comprehension abilities are still above, like well above and beyond. Perhaps as though to have been expected from a Sin Archbishop, he perceived the whereabouts of the witch factor. Wait. Oh shit, wait. Sorry, I just read that. My bad. I lost my train of visage. Okay. Now that's just extremely slanderous. If you're going to call me something disputable or disreputable, then call me this. Without revealing her caution towards the inside of Roy's, Petra placed a hand over her chest, and while ascertaining the sensation of the small black box she had received from Klein, she stuck out her tongue with a bleh, declaring thus: "The Witch of Tristitia, Petra Late." In most cases, introducing oneself with such a title would be received with no warm welcomes. While calling oneself by that was already bad enough, being called that by someone else was absolutely out of the question, regardless of whether one was steeled in their resolve or not. That was a title akin to a curse, that of being abhorred by every person throughout the world. However, Petra had boldly declared herself as such, as if it was something to take pride in. After all, the master whom Petra served was the Witch of Glaciation, and her beloved, was a kind, admirable knight whose heart was smitten with that witch. This shit is fucking peak. God fucking damn it! Damn it! Fuck! The writing just goes crazy. God fucking damn it! Sheesh! No! No! God, Buddha, Adlagna, for as long as I live, I hereby vow to never hold beautiful flowers. I hereby vow to never partake in my favorite food. Oh, fuck. I hereby vow to never return to my hometown. Fuck, dude! This is intense! What the fuck? Bro, what? Dude, 43 is, oh my god. Damn it. The Witch of Tristitia, Petra Lete. Upon Petra declaring herself so, Roy Alphard felt a sense of apotheosis. Owing to the surprise that she was capable of going so far, and the delight that she had indeed gone that far. To take in a witch factor, and by one's own volition became a possessor of an authority, a being who would be called the likes of witch or warlock or even sin archbishop, was an act seemingly utterly devoid of sanity. The point upon which they had passed such an apparent decision was when their scrupulousness, there we go, to spare no measure. God damn it, sorry. My brain got stuck. That was to say, their love and affection, that was the very spirit of hospitality, was something Roy felt potently, profoundly, vastly, and warmly. The greatest! So glad you turned up! Spreading his arms wide, Roy stifled his ecstasy and preferred his gratitude to their hospitality and rendezvous. Seeing that she named herself the Witch of Tristitia, Roy's interference that the opponent's authority, what the fuck? Inference that the opponent's authority was derived from pride had been off the mark. However, what's pride's authority? Roy had been told by a monster who entitled itself a mother that the witch factor of Tristitia was a special, defective article with which nobody would prove to be compatible. What is he talking about? Pandora? Echidna? What are we talking about right now? That's crazy. The witch factor of Tristitia was one of the things that his mother had desired. So upon hearing of its hideaway, his mother would certainly be delighted. Wait. Wait. Not Echidna. It can't be Echidna, right? Wait. However, Roy had once been told by a monster who entitled itself his mother, that the witch factor of Tristitia was a special, defective article with which nobody would prove to be compatible. It's either Echidna or Pandora, but like, Pandora is a fucking lolly with long hair. And that's every single gluttony. Okay. Oh, y'all gonna have to post in the y'all gonna have to tell me you guys' theories in the comments, because like I'm getting cooked right now. And excuse like the poor reading. Hey yo, what the fuck? Hey yo. Where am I? Naturally, he did not feel like giving up even a single bite of such a special feast to his mother. What? What? What is it? Who is he talking about? It's a cute, selfish request of her hungry child after all. So she'll surely overlook it, won't she? This was a matter of his mother, the personification of the desire for acknowledgement, who loved nothing more than to be revered. Roy could imagine how he would trigger her temper upon learning that he had given priority to himself over his mother. Once, Roy used to find his egotistic selfishness of his mother's to be unhelpably bothersome. But his current sentiment was slightly different from before. The sentiment that even such egotistic selfishness and conceitedly diseased self-love were irreplaceable attributes to be cherished. Queen to Earth 6, Hunter to Yang 6, Noble to Yin 5. Earth 6, Earth user, Yang 6, Light user, Yin 5, Dark user. According to the aged giant's instructions, a dim glow sojourned in Petra's eyes. It was not as though they were actually shining, as a consequence of her devoting her consciousness to utilizing an authority that was impossible to get accustomed to using. The moments in which she was exerting herself could be pinpointed. Normally, it was a trivial habit not worth paying attention to. But in the mindset of battle, where an instant's difference demarcated the line between victory and defeat, even that became information coupled to life or death. From Roy's field of vision, the forms of Ram and the pigmen and Melee astraddle atop a hungry horse king disappeared. And concurrent to their disappearance, they appeared as though surrounding Roy from three different directions and waged their offenses, the timing of which he could quite clearly grasp due to the glow in Petra's eyes. Yes, excuse us for a bit. On the brink of their offensive, making contact, Roy joined his hands before his chest. When, in that instant, the ground rose as though the sand dunes were swelling from force applied from left and right, cutting off Ram and the pigman's line of sight from Roy, entrusting the two to that. Roy focused his concentration on the utmost loud and annoying crying voice of an infant. Dude, this shit is fucking peak. This shit is fucking peak. Oh my god. Damn it, this shit is peak. Wow. There's a lot going on right now. Dude, Arc 9 potential to be like second or third best arc so far for free. Oh fuck. And then like this art. We got like Rom, we got like the divine, or we got like the fucking demon beast, Melee on top, Roy, Klein. The field of vision from the back of his head that came to him even without needing to turn. Therein were the bone spears of the hungry horse king that Melee was riding. And along that, launched in tandem, the guilty law's monstrous proficient arm swung. Damn, in the hey yo! Bending his body a great deal back, Roy created dodge after dodge after dodge, then licked his lips. The compactor, Pfizer, was a hitman who had specialized in burying alive, wielding a strange ability to squash everything from both ends of his flesh of vision into its middle. And the priestess of 1,000 visages, Larina, was the proprietor of an expansive heart and outlook, all 360 degrees, top to bottom and left to right, never to miss bearing witness to the tears of the lamenting, grieving weak. However, the ability of the Queen of Witch Beasts, Melee, did not fall short of them either. Bro, this shit's actually like really fucking hitting me. God damn it. I can't imagine how arcs 10, 11, 12 are gonna be. And I'm gonna say this right now. There has to be an arc 0. There has to be an arc 0. But it has to come after it's done. It's like arc 0. Oh god. Fuck me. Noise of babies crying. Aru. The pack of Olgarm, the hungry horse king of the Sand Sea, and the guilty law renowned as the jet black king of the forest. Melee's ability of sallying forth witch beasts in succession granted Roy nary a breather for emotional impressions. Melee's stratagem of manipulating witch beasts with unbroken horns was something that he had prepared for through his memories. But since he had been deferred from experiencing the true worth of the Pleiades watchtower, it was a great excitement to witness it in all its glory. God damn it.
Okay, so we're picking up where we left off from because... Wait a minute. Let me make sure this is like a little bit lower. Just because I don't want the other dialogue to come in. Or, not dialogue. Music to come in too much. Anyway, we're just picking up back where we left off. As you can see, like I'm wearing different shit. Different day. I got my new mic. So, that means that the audio is going to be better. I would hope so. I've done like a few practice recordings and it sounds like it's gonna be cool, so let's try and finish it. I'm gonna reread the last one though. Bending his body a great deal back, Roy accreted dodge after dodge after dodge, then licked his lips. The compactor, Figdor, was a hitman who had specialized in burying alive, wielding a strange ability to squash everything from both ends of his fields of vision into its middle. And the priestess of 1,000 visages, Ierna, was the proprietor of an expansive heart and outlook, all 360 degrees atop to bottom and left to right, never to miss bearing witness to the tears of the lamenting, grieving weak. However, the ability of the queen of the witch beasts, Meili, did not fall short of them either. I don't know what like voice to make for that. Like that's fucking like the Hungry Horse King sounds like crying babies, right? Guilty Law. The pack of Olgar, the Hungry Horse King of the Sand Sea, and the Guilty Law, renowned as the Jet Black King of the Forest. Meili's ability of sallying forth witch beasts in succession granted Roy nary a breather for emotional impression. Meili's stratagem of manipulating witch beasts with unbroken horns was something he had been prepared for through his memories. But since he had been deferred from experiencing its true worth at the Pleiades Watchtower, it was a great excitement to witness it in all of its glory. Having been born possessing such a divine protection, your life must be full of ups and downs, hasn't it? The way of life have you walked till now? Teach us, Meili! Teach us what way of life you've walked? That was something Subaru Oni-san and Emilio Oni-chan said to me once before, too. Really? And then? The bone spears of the Hungry Horse King and the honed claws of the Guilty Law nimbly and agilely evaded them. Roy slurped on his drool while Meili, glaring at him with her face harboring animosity and repugnance, pulled her eyelid downward and stuck out her tongue. The same as what you say about love being whatever before, but in the end, what matters even more than what you say is who says it. I don't know like her cadence. I don't know like what her shit's supposed to represent. At the truth, which left him no place to grapple, Roy could only muster a "ta" with no words to give in to retort. At Roy's rear, the pigman smashed through the ground wall barrier, and from overhead Ram dropped, disappearing and appearing yet again. Front, rear, above, enclosed from 3 dimensions, Roy distorted the space between the length of both his legs, invoking the magical technique of the Magia Magnus Manister, Yardray, who had been submerged in the shadows of history and finally eaten. Spears of flame, ice, and earth were brought forth by magic and immediately locked onto their targets. So you know what's crazy to me? I think that the gluttonies are the perfect way to introduce a Deus Ex Machina when it comes to introducing new abilities and skills, because the entire world has forgotten these existences due to the authority of gluttony, right? Whether it be their ability to take on the name or to erase the names or memories of a person from the world, but also gain those abilities based on what they ate. You quite literally can just, and I'm not saying this is like a detriment to Top Ace writing style, you can quite literally make up anything and be like, yeah, here's the ability that this thing can do, and it's like, what the fuck, you can do this? How, what is this you're doing? You would know if the person who was supposed to have gone down in history wasn't consumed. They'd be like, oh yeah, we know of this. And that's why I think that the dynamic of the witch cult is so fascinating. They're easily the most scary, in my opinion, the strongest group of like a negative or evil antagonist group in all of anime. Like their abilities quite literally go against the laws of the world in a way where you can't really just make a way to beat all of them. There's no weakness. It's, hey, the fundamental way that you live life and the rules that you abide by in this life, these people's or these existences transcend that, like, at its core. Just them existing is already going against like the natural flow of the world, which I find so interesting. Yap aside. Their aims were melee, the pigman, and Ram, but she was not there. To lose sight of Ram again and again. Why don't you just throw those away? Those set of eyes. Oh, I love Ram. I love Ram, dude. Like, oh my god, like Ram is such like a good character. You know what that sounds like, but I'm not gonna off screen. Anyway, there she was, at a distance close enough for a hug. Ram's slender frame came into sight. God, Buddha, Atlagna, for as long as I live, I hereby vow to never shed a tear in the company of others. It's God, Buddha, Atlagna, for as long as I live, I hereby vow to never wipe the tears of another. Hey, dude, I'm getting like, I am goosebumped out right now. Like, I don't know if y'all can see this. I don't know if it's gonna like focus. I am fucking goosebumped up right now. Like, this shit is actually so insane. Petra's sacrificing a lot. Oh my god, fuck. And this is not the music to be going with this. Witch of Tristitia! The Compactor. Cross. Priestess of 1,000 Visages. Cross. Magia Magnus Magister. Surpassing even the combined power of those new super rational individuals. The trio closed in from all multifarious directions. Wait. Oh, okay. And knowing the identity of the one who had orchestrated this, Roy's throat roared the name out. What had made his throat quake was not rage, it was delight. Throbbing lively, his heart thrummed pulsations would not cease. Drumming pulsations would not cease. Entrusting himself to those thrumming pulsations, Roy re-aimed the spheres of 3 attributes from their initial targets, bringing them crashing into one another. By the way of the blast and vapor generated, Ram and the others would inevitably be forced to reposition. What? Did you think we would teleport to avoid sustaining injuries? With his line of sight obscured, the scorching vapor which ought to have coerced the teleport via the authority of Tristitia was rent asunder through pure strength, and from the other side came flying the proprietor of pale crimson eyes. Plunging headfirst into the inescapable scalding heat, she had caught Roy off guard, the latter having erased the possibility that they might deliberately choose to sustain injury from his head. Forthwith, born was the option for Roy to take the initiative, employing the teleport of the Leaper to forcibly reset things to square one. However, the greatest! The instant he recognized his opponent's brilliance, Roy Alphard's bizarre eating awakened. With an outcry of jubilation screeching through his mind, Roy's brain sparked with branches of countless choices. Flinging the doors open on the plentiful treasure house of memories, He sought that which sparked amidst the countless miscellaneous treasures tossed aside. The articles, what had been lying dormant, impatiently awaiting the chance to raise their fists, cries, and rise to the stage at last. At present, the foremost point of focus was the truth of the hospitality that had rendered eclipsing a failure. Having reached his hand out towards his opponent in an attempt to eat their memories, Roy's eclipsing towards Ram had failed. But she was unmistakably Ram. That was evident from the freshly devoured memories. The originator of those memories called her by the name Ram, and those in the environs beyond that also called her Ram. If anything, even her own first-person pronoun was Ram. She was Ram through and through. Regardless, he could not meet the requirements for invoking eclipsing of the name Ram. In that case, the most probable reason behind the failure of eclipsing was an alteration of the true name. Is it Rem? Is it Rem? Is it Rem that's fighting as Ram? Hey, yo! Okay, wait. That's a possibility. That's definitely a possibility. Holy shit. Definitely a possibility. For the Monte chat. Shall we begin? Required for eclipsing were the provisions to plunder the target from the name registry of souls managed by Odd Lagna. Hence, the target's name would need to match exactly what Odd Lagna had recorded to be. In most cases, it was the vow averred during the naming ritual at the time of one's birth. The moment those prayers arrived, the true name would be recorded in the vast empty mind benamed Odd Lagna. Primarily, once the true name was defined, it would not be altered, regardless of however an individual might opt to acknowledge themselves. The alterations which Odd Lagna did recognize, one of those few exceptions. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Oh my god, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god, bro. Bro. She officially has his last name? That is fucking crazy. Rom Mathers. What? Piercing through the vapor as Ram attempted to have her blow connect. Roy forestalled by touching her. The predominant reason for altercations of the true name were those brought about by what the fuck? What the fuck? Oh shit! Oh my god! No, what the fuck? Bro, this is peak fiction. What? What? In addition, Ram had compelled Meili to refer to her as Madam. Even from just the memories, there lay no room for doubt pertaining to whom Ram harbored affection. Fostering conviction, Roy invoked eclipsing upon the soul of Ram. No, upon Ram Mathers. Her pale crimson eyes dilated wide as she sought to devour her memories. to understand her through and through, no sparing a single portion. Let's eat. In that instant, Roy split his eyes wide open at the sensation akin to muck being crammed into his open mouth. That was the proof of Eclipsing's failure. His entire body quaking with a vehement sense of rejection. Roy's heart, supposed to have graciously received a treat, now tore apart from within. An absurd dubiety governing his mind. Why? How? Understanding? Marriage? Ram? True name? Doting to her younger sister? Awful taste? The Margrave? Earnest? Ill-natured? Superiority? Dependable? Merely awful taste? Her name also ill? Marriage? Passion? Did you peer into Otto's memories? Truly a fool. Did you really think Ram would use this emergency as a pretext to position herself as Roswell-sama's spouse? If you truly knew Ram, that was a misunderstanding you would never have made. She just fucked me up! What the fuck? What? As Ram sneered, her lips twisting into a slim smile, Roy understood. To have herself be called Madam was yet another misdirect, a ploy to draw him in a false conclusion, exploring the memories of someone else, someone close. In truth, Roy had dismissed the low-risk choice of using the leaper's technique, opting instead of the high reward of reaching Ram's soul with his tongue, with the conviction that he would be able to eat her. A decision he would have never made had he not eaten those memories, had he not eaten Otto Suin. For the most part, this is for Otto. And she's calling him by his name instead of a half man. Ram appraised himself. Then, her wind-clad fists, the pigman's rock-like knuckles, and to top it all off, the fiery bone spears clad in blasting burn, and the stout arms of the fiendish beast, all impaled Roy Alfard in perfect synchrony. And that was the end of the chapter. We're gonna read the first passage of the next chapter. Holy shit, chat. That shit went crazy. Arc 9, Chapter 44. Collision beneath the water's surface. Who the fuck is this? Is this Rem using Ram's power? This is all we're gonna read, then we're stopping. God, Buddha, Adlagna, for as long as I live, I hereby vow to never speak of fond reminiscence. Shit. So I watched a video or a short from Light Novel Historian, and he was saying that, like, yeah, this new phase, it's so fucked, it's so cooked. Subaru has to restart. We have to go back. We have to, like, rewrite this shit. And you know what? I'm gonna say that I hard disagree that that's gonna happen. And I could be wrong in the future. Call me out on it if it's not the case. But I think part of what makes the writing so good for ReZero is that we will get permadeaths in ways that we will not understand until later. And there are some that we will get immediately and we will understand the impact. For this, Petra giving up so much of her life just to get Subaru back, that tracks. And I honestly think that, like, we're not going to backpedal. We're not going to backpedal. In my opinion, I don't think we're going to backpedal. We definitely could. I know that Arc 2 exists where there was like a lot of shit where we just, hey, the whole thing's established, we came back. Nah. So if Petra, okay, my current opinions right now, we can have like a conversation in like in the chat, go into Discord. Dude, there's one of three options. Petra lives and she knows about return by death. Petra dies. Petra lives and she doesn't know about return by death. There's like no, not much else can happen, dude. This has to be one of the most pivotal moments in all of ReZero. I'm calling this right now as a novel reader. I'm just now reading Arc 9, Chapter 44. It's 2025. It's fucking September 6th, bro. I've not been spoiled on like the other chap. Like, dude, Petra's either dying or we're living. Like, we're gonna finish the fucking series with Petra or without Petra, but her impact is going to be fucking like ridiculous. So compared to the first plowing straight into the opponent's mug, those words must have been far from scathing. Laying eyes upon that sight, Ramji fathomed such a guess regarding the pain Heinkel had received. With a counterattack strategy that fully relied on his ability to take hits, Heinkel endeavored to strike back against Flam and Graces. But just before that could take form, he was superbly thwarted by Gaston, or to be precise, by the intervention of the young girl who had inserted Gaston there via compression. Jeez, really is quite something. After verifying the safety of the twin sisters who had been released from the opponent's grasp, what Ramji turned his attentive gaze toward was the young girl riding on his shoulders. The side profile of Petra. And she's aura farming. She's aura farming like fuck. With her large, round eyes narrowed, and the lovely features of her cheeks strained, Petra diligently cast a serious gaze upon the two battlefronts. Those being the bouts of combat clashing against Roy Alphard and of Gluttony, and the swordsman who had betrayed the kingdom, the backstabber, Heinkel. Originally present there had also been the principal offender, Aldebaran, alongside his obedient shinobi, and the divine dragon which had bowed down before him. There had been discussions on splitting up that dangerous ensemble, creating theaters of war that each enemy could be dealt crushing blows individually. But it would have been no exaggeration to say that it was Petra who held the key to the stratagem's success. Alright, chat. We're gonna like clock out right here. You guys got an hour plus of video. I love y'all. This shit is so fucking peak. I'm gonna catch up. I got my new mic, so we're gonna be able to record very consistently. The only reason why I paused was because like my mic was not working. My old mic. I got a new mic. And that was it. This has been your boy Zero, aka Black, Natsuki, Subaru, and we're gonna catch you in the next one. So until next time, peace.